Since Sir Bernard Hogan-Howe took over as Metropolitan Police Commissioner just over 2 years ago, the number of stop-and-search operations in London has fallen a fifth. Our reporter Jordan Jarrett-Bryan, who's been stopped and searched himself twice, has spent the day on the streets of Tottenham, which has in the past been a flashpoint for clashes with the police, not least following the shooting of Mark Duggan. He has this report.
Yeah, it's off Park Avenue, northwards down onto Station Road.
A police task force hits the streets patrolling the crime hotspots in Haringey. I wanted to see firsthand how stop and search is done, because while the police say it's a vital tool in fighting crime, I know it comes at a cost.
You're not doing any drugs, are you?
Now, I've only been stopped and searched twice in my life, but many of my friends and family who look just like me, who dress just like me, get stopped on a regular basis. This leads my friends to believe that the police feel that black people are inherent criminals.
You understand their job, they've got to do their stop and searches because they're trying to minimise crime and stuff, but I question the thought process behind why they seem to target black people or ethnic minorities.
You can't change it. I'll tell you why, because the police are institutionally racist, yeah? So the only way you're going to change that is to change the way the police think.
Do you feel the police racially profile people?
Of course they do. Of course, they've done it from D. They're not going to change. Like, the whole reason why it will never be changed, because they're not willing to change their system. Okay, if something happens, then they'll get a black man, put him on the front, make him walk Tottenham High Road and make him think that, yeah, you're helping.
Positive stuff.
So I met up with the Borough Commander, Victor Olisa, to find out what he was doing to allay the community's fears.
Black people feel like they are being almost picked on, they are being singled out and racially profiled. There's a lot of anger and frustration amongst young black men that feel like, if I walk down the street to get my shop in, I'm going to get pulled. How would you, align their fears and concerns that isn't the case, even though the stats say it is, and what are you doing to try and amend those concerns and fears?
Okay, I mean the statement there, it's a headline that really, one, is inaccurate, and two, sets off a debate that's not really helpful.
According to studies that are done from actually internally at the Met and externally, it says that a black man is 6 times more likely to be stopped and searched.
It's never been that high in the Met. It's usually around about 4 to 1 in the Met.
Even if it is 4 to 1 at worst,
absolutely.
Isn't that surely way too much?
And that's not the important thing in terms of the 4 to 1. That affects people, when we talk about those figures. But it's actually who's been stopped, why people are being stopped.
And what would you say to officers that you had spoken to people, with disrespect and disregard almost?
Well, I don't have any examples of that, which is unfortunate, because that doesn't mean I don't think it doesn't happen. And again, it's part of this trust that we're talking about, getting people to trust that we will do something about it, that I will do something about it, and other officers in my position will do something about it. That's a big step we need to get over.
Can I ask, Commander, have you ever stopped and searched a black person?
Only 2-3 weeks ago, I stopped 3 or 4 young black men just around the corner from me. And all the things I was talking to you about how we should do stop and search, if I can't practice it, I'm in the wrong place. But did those things, explained the reasons why, and at the end of it, there was an acceptance, yeah, okay. You need to do what you need to do. Someone's actually explained, thank you very much, and as they walks away, oh, by the way, well done, bro.
So it's clear that Commander Olisa has genuine intentions of building bridges of trust with the black community. However, he's only one person, albeit somebody in a position of senior authority. What we now need to see is more people from the ethnic communities represented in positions of power within the Met Police, because those are the people that can ultimately not only sympathise with people from boroughs like Haringey, but also empathise with them.
Well, now we're joined by Shaun Bailey, a former Special Advisor to the Prime Minister on Youth and Crime, who stood as a Conservative candidate in the last general election. Also with me, Stuart Lawrence, the brother of Stephen Lawrence, who was killed in a racist attack. Last year, Stuart lodged a racism complaint against the Metropolitan Police after being stopped and searched a good number of times. How many times?
25, just off my recollection. We haven't been able to get a definitive figure on that, but 25, because I worked it out, like how many times I was stopped in my younger days.
Just describe what happens when you're stopped and searched. I mean, give me an instance that happened to you.
Sure. The usual incident is I live in South East London, driving, usually of an evening, and stopped and asked, is this your car? Do you have any proof of details, etc.? When I've asked the reason why I've been stopped, there's been an incident in this area, your car matches the description or you match the description, this is the reason why I'm stopping.
Is it aggressive?
9 times out of 10, no. No, 9 times out of 10 it's not. I heard a few occasions where it has been a bit more forceful and a bit more aggressive, but yeah, 9 times out of 10 it's not.
Shaun Bailey, I mean, what have you ever been stopped and searched?
A great deal of times.
Really?
Yeah.
But you were serious, Mr. Straight, running as a Conservative MP and all that.
I come from Laverick Grove. I'm a youth worker. I spend a lot of time on the street. You get stopped. It's uncomfortable. It's unnecessary. But there's two sides to the stop and search. It sends the message that the police are about. It needs to be done more equitably, though. And what the Home Secretary was aiming for was giving the police the need to do it in a way that the public can accept. If you see what the Metropolitan Police have done, they've realised how wrong they've got it in the past and have gently tried to wind it down. I think this was going to be a message from the top to say we're going to put you in a position, because there's an added thing of public safety, public concern about the police.
Well, now the magistrate who investigated your brother's killing concluded that the police were institutionally racist.
Yes,
are they still?
There's still some elements of it. I'm here trying to...
Is that the problem?
Yes and no. I think, yes, there's still people still there, and over time we hopefully will get rid of those people. But I do still feel like there's an influx of new people coming through as well, and we need to ensure through training and proper guidance that if these people hold these type of views, that they're held accountable to.
Well, now that we detect some, as we reported, a bit of a division between the Home Secretary and the Prime Minister in this, as a result of the question of how to deal with the fact that, you know, a quarter of 1.2 million stop and search arrests were unlawful. So do you think the Prime Minister should actually make a statement about what's going to be done?
I think the Prime Minister should, but I think the Prime Minister is cautious because what he doesn't want is to have any backpedaling. So he has to make sure that if there's a law change, it stays changed. And remember, he and the Home Secretary are both responsible for police morale, which is a very important thing for everybody. But in a sense, they're both correct, because the Home Secretary is saying, I want to give the police a lead on what they should and shouldn't be doing. And you don't want to leave the police open to lots of challenges because of illegal stops. But the PM is saying we need to look at how they are trained as well, because what makes the stops really onerous is when you're dealt with incorrectly.
But as a Tory, you must be worried that, I mean, unless this thing is straightened out, they are not going to push the ethnic vote bigger than the 16% you got last time.
There's two things I'd say. It's offensive to believe that all black people concerned with is being stopped by the police. We are not trouble. There's more to our civic life than that. What will make the police force effective for everybody is not wasting their time. And if you look at the stats around stop and search, there's been a lot of time wasted.
Right.
And that was one of the Home Secretary's main points.
Do you detect any real change?
No, not really, I'm afraid to say, because...
But there is an Afro-Caribbean head of the force up there in Tottenham.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it takes
That's
more...
progress, isn't it?
Of course, it's a little bit of progress. We need more black and ethnic minorities to join the police force. But I was asking myself this question, which is, why would you want to?
Would you ever?
I wouldn't, I'm afraid to say.
Why not?
Just...
But I can tell you why you should. The reason you should join the force is to change.
I'm more interested in why you wouldn't.
Yeah, but the point is, it's about culture, isn't it?
Okay, cool. I lived next to someone. I lived next door to my next door neighbour when I was growing up was a policeman. I just recently moved from...
A black policeman?
No, a white policeman.
A white policeman,
White policeman. I've just recently moved from Peckham to Herne Hill, and one of my neighbours that lived in Peckham, he's a policeman, and his wife was around my house recently saying to me the reason why he joined was because she kept imploring him to say, come on, you can't complain about, you know, these differences not happening without you taking a stance yourself. But, you know, I've had a case against a police officer who stopped me recently, and I put a complaint into the IPC, and that hasn't been upheld, even though the IPC said there was some wrongdoing there. And my question to myself is, if I'm trying to say to myself, OK, we're moving forward, things are changing, then what is really being done? These things are not being changed.
Well, I'm afraid that's the question we're going to have to leave in the air tonight. But Stuart Lawrence, thank you very much indeed for coming in, and Shaun Bailey too.